As we welcome you back to Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis, you heard from Jedd Fisch there in that nice little montage, and you're going to hear from Jedd Fisch here on our set. Pleased to have you with us, Coach. And you and I visited in Washington this summer in your office, and we were talking about what a strange spot it is for you because you're at a new school, you're in a new league, you've had massive turnover with this team, and yet the expectations are so high because of what happened last year, a team that played for the national championship. So how do you go about setting expectations for this season internally and externally?
Yeah, well, we're excited about being a part of the Big Ten, and we're excited about all the change that's coming our way. Our team's fired up about getting started here in a couple days and start seeing how good we can become. But we're not talking too much about expectations. I like to remind the team that we're not preseason top 25. I saw someplace we're not preseason top 50. That's all fine and dandy. I think it's a lot because no one knows our team.
Yeah.
Our massive turnover came from the NFL. We wound up losing 13 players to the NFL, 10 of which were drafted. So when you have that type of change with 13 players and then 3 more are moving on to try to become undrafted free agents, on top of that, you got 16 guys declared and then 4 or 5 that transferred out. We got a brand new team, and we know that our expectation is just to play really, really hard and really, really good and then see what happens.
You know this league well. You've been on the staff at Minnesota and then Michigan when Jake was there as a player. In what ways do you think familiarity with the conference can help you as you make this adjustment?
I think the biggest thing for me is that I can explain to our guys what's it like to play at Penn State for a whiteout. What is it like to play at Kinnick Stadium? We're going to Iowa this year. Prepare them for playing at Rutgers. Prepare them for what's Indiana, field looks like and where the locker room's going to be, and kind of talk through some of those things.
Yeah.
But also, you just have to experience it too. And the cool part about being in the Big Ten, I was in there in 15 and 16. I was there 09. I mean, those are a lot of years ago. And in between that time, I had a chance to coach in the NFL and coach in the Super Bowl and, be at Arizona. So I think we're just at a spot right now where we're just going to embrace every moment and learn from it.
Coach, since there's been so many new talented, new people coming into your program, are there things that you go out and want to do to try to bring the continuity together, to bring your team together and make sure they're cohesive at the end?
Yeah, we're doing about every team building activity that you possibly can do. I think we've tried to we're doing a luau at the lake on Saturday. We've rented boats. We've done bowling. We've done leadership council activities. We have something called Mind Time, where once a week we get together for an hour in our 5th quarter Life After Football room and try to get to know each other as people. Like, that's the most important thing we can do, is get to know one another and really try to understand each other so we can play hard for one another. And building personal relationships is what's key for us right now.
Coach, I remember back at Michigan when you were sharing with our team kind of how you started your journey. And you didn't really come from like a decorated football background. And you leave Post-it notes on Steve Spurrier's windshield. Yeah. Basically, until you could not be denied anymore. And that's how you got it kicked off. And from there, your career has taken off. You had the clear vision, your hunger, your competitive nature. I'm just curious, where this mindset and refusal to be denied started from, and how do you use it as a coach today?
Well, the biggest thing for me, Jake, as as a coach, is honesty, right, and transparency. And what I've tried to do is when I coach you and anyone I've ever coached is I want them to know my story. I want them to get to understand me and where I came from and why I'm doing what I'm doing and how we got here. And we don't try to fake anything. We don't try to make up anything. And so it's important for them to understand, or for you guys to understand. Like, it wasn't easy to get into this business, and it wasn't easy to, leave Post-it notes on Coach Spurrier's. But it really came from making a decision that this is what I wanted to do. And I've told our guys, if you're determined, then you find a way. And, that's really what our mentality is going to be. Like, I'm not going to want to hear excuses from our team. Like, hey, we've got 21 starters gone, or hey, we have brand new staff or brand new systems. Like, find a way. And we did it. We did it at Arizona when everyone told us we couldn't do it. They said, there's no way. Why are you leaving the Patriots to go to Arizona? We found a way, and we found a way to have the second longest win streak in college football behind Michigan right now. And our goal is to do the same thing, and it's really based on that refuse to lose mentality.
Was that part of the presentation for Will Rogers?
Oh, yeah, Will learned. Part of the presentation, most of the presentation for Will was, I can just tell you what an NFL quarterback looks like, so if you want to be an NFL quarterback, you should come here. Plain and simple. There's a lot of people that can say they've coached guys that have gotten in the NFL. There's not a lot of guys that can say they've coached guys in the NFL. That's a difference. And if you want to know what the game looks like, and you want to know what a draft room conversation actually is, or if you want to know what a mini camp actually is going to look like, if you want to be prepared for an NFL playbook, then you can't go to other schools. There's only a few you can go to. And you should choose to come here because of that. And you should choose to, I guess, pull your name back out of the portal for that moment in time, because there is no better opportunity for you than right here.
Well, one of the things they do in the NFL is there's helmet communications, with the quarterback. That's going to be a new change here at the college football level next fall. Just curious, operationally, what that looks like from you. What will be different from Arizona last year to now adding in those helmet communications this fall?
Well, the biggest difference, I would say, is I get to talk to them instead of signal. I call the game, right? So I'm calling the plays. So for me to be able to give maybe a reminder, hey, remember now, if 56 walks out there, that's going to tell you it's man coverage. Don't miss that opportunity, rather than hope that everything you put on a tip sheet, that all you 18 to 22-year-olds remember. I think that it's a situation where we also can help them get ready for that next level of, getting maybe an alert or a kill put into a game, a call. And so they understand, like, hey, this is what it's going to sound like. This is how it's going to come through my ear if I was at, the Rams, the Bears, the Dolphins, the 49ers, all the guys, the Falcons. We all run the same offense. We all have the same verbiage. So it's an opportunity for those guys to take that into the next level too.
How does that change the communication between player and coach in game? Do the players need to be more attuned to what's going on out on the field anymore, because they can come back to the sideline and see it on the tablet or get some of those tips?
Well, it's really interesting now that we have the video tablets on top of the helmet communicator, because now you're talking about, with these video tablets, it's like, you can't tell me you did this and then I watch it 2 seconds later and you didn't do it.
At least
right?
I had a couple of hours I could tell you, I saw this.
Then there's, usually like I saw this, and then the game ends, and if you win, you go to sleep, and the next morning you're like, yeah, no big deal, you didn't get that right. Now you're talking about a 30-second differential, right? So now you're watching it on a tablet and you're saying that is not what happened, right? The guy spiked in front of your face because you stepped with your wrong foot, not some ridiculous stunt that they came out of midair, right? So I think the tablet will help honest communication. I think it will help us make quicker in-game adjustments. But, part of it too is like, I don't love the tablet thing, because there's part of coaching that is being able to see it and being able to see what's happening and try to have some competitive advantage. Now we're all going to watch it on TV.
I want to ask you about Steve Belichick, your defensive coordinator. And, at the NFL level, it's all about X's and O's. At the college level, there's a recruiting piece too. And you look at Bill, and he kind of has a certain type of, aura. Maybe not. You wouldn't think Bill. You wouldn't consider Bill as like a great recruiter.
You're
right?
tap dancing around this really well. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's a curmudgeon.
I don't know really well, but I'm trying. You
Go
get
right
what I'm
down the
saying.
middle.
I'm just curious, how Steve has embraced the recruiting side at the college level, and what you expect for him, X's and O's wise as well.
Yeah, well, recruiting-wise, what Steve, and forget just recruiting-wise, I would say as a coach, he is as authentic as it gets. So when you're recruiting a player, they love authenticity because they don't get a lot of it. So if our players talk to recruits and they're like, what's Coach Belichick like? He's real, man. And just what you're getting on the phone, you're not going to get a lot of fluff. You're not going to get a lot of there's not going to be a million questions about how's your girlfriend doing and how's mom and dad and how's this and how's that. He's going to get right to it. He's going to say, do you want to run the Patriots defense? do you want to be coached in a manner that NFL players get coached? And I want to do that for you. And it's very cut and dry. And that's why I love having him, because he's cut and dry and he's right to the point.
Jedd Fisch, one last question for you. When we were talking this summer, you said, I'm not really going to know until the guys are sweating next to one another. But I will ask you this. What do you feel best about with your program right now before you start preseason practice?
I feel best really about how much they've embraced learning new systems. Like they've been willing to really get out of their comfort zone. And they've come from being 14-1, and it's hard to just say, well, this offense is now what we're going to do when they've had such success on offense. But they've embraced it, and that's what I appreciate the most.
Jedd Fisch is a ton of fun. Welcome back to the Big Ten.
It's
great to see
back.
you, and we look forward to seeing the Huskies on the field this year.